In 3 years as a starter, CJ Stroud has never had a true, reliable 1-2 punch at running back. Not once. Year 1, it was a committee that nobody could really figure out. Year 2, they had an excellent RB1 who has since gotten hurt and is never coming back. And last year, you had a really solid running back who turned into one of the least efficient rushers. This offseason, that story changes, and I genuinely think this is one of the most underrated storylines of the entire Texans offseason. CJ Stroud finally has a real backfield, and I'm going to break down exactly why and how long it took to get here. So if you like this type of Texans content, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. But let's go back to 2023, CJ Stroud's rookie year. Coming in, everybody assumed that Dameon Pierce was the guy, and honestly, that made sense. Pierce had that incredible 2022 campaign, 939 yards, 4 touchdowns, angry run of the year, as a 4th-round pick running behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. People were locked in on Dameon Pierce as the future of this backfield. So what does Caserio do? He goes out and he signs Devin Singletary, Motor, as a complement. The plan was Pierce as RB1, Singletary as a change of pace back, a committee approach. And early in the season, it just wasn't working. The run game was ranking 27th in the league. Pierce was averaging just 3.0 yards per carry. And CJ Stroud, a rookie at the time, was basically carrying this offense on his arm every single week. But then Pierce goes down with an ankle injury. They finally give Singletary the reins. And week 10 against the Bengals, Singletary goes for a career-high 150 yards. He led the entire NFL in carries and rushing yards over that stretch, named AFC Offensive Player of the Week out of nowhere. And here's the thing that nobody really talks about enough. That run game coming to life in the second half of 2023 is part of why CJ Stroud won Offensive Rookie of the Year. When Singletary was cooking, the offense opened up, play action worked, third downs were more manageable, CJ Stroud had more breathing room. By the end of that season, Singletary had outright taken the running back 1 job, finishing with 898 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, and Pierce never really reclaimed his starting spot. And after the season, Singletary walks in free agency to the Giants, and now Pierce has eventually gotten shipped out too. Just like that, they're both gone. Year 2, I'll affectionately call the Mixon era. Going into 2024, Caserio goes and he gets Joe Mixon, and man, on paper, this is a real move. Mixon was a proven veteran, he can catch out of the backfield, and he's been productive his whole career, and was let go by the Bengals, which kind of left a bad taste in Texans fans' mouth. They were like, what's wrong with this guy? And effectually, nothing was wrong with Joe Mixon. It worked. Mixon was solid. Stroud had a running back he could actually hand the ball to and trust. The offense had an identity on the ground. But look, when you give Mixon that many carries at his age, things aren't going to go great. He had a slow decline at the end of the season, and after 2024, Mixon's foot goes in the offseason in some mystery injury. He misses the entire year in 2025, and now he has been released. He's gone. The whole season wasted. And while this defense is putting up the best numbers in the NFL, their starting running back is gone, watching from the couch in a boot. But in 2025, the Texans had to scramble. They drafted Woody Marks, they signed Nick Chubb, rotating bodies in and out, just trying to survive the season. And look, I like Woody Marks. I think he is a solid running back, but I don't think he's good enough to be your running back 1. Stroud didn't really have a reliable ground game with him all year, and teams knew it was coming through the air pretty much every single down when Woody Marks wasn't able to get it going. And then in the divisional round, when they needed the run game most, it just wasn't there. But now here is where it gets good, because this offseason, Caserio didn't just replace Mixon, he built an actual backfield, a real one. David Montgomery, acquired via trade from Detroit, 2-year deal, $16.5 million, and this isn't a random name. Montgomery has 33 rushing touchdowns over the last 3 seasons. He's a bruiser. He's extremely good in the red zone. He runs with physicality. He picks up blitzes. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. And he spent time in a Lions offense that was one of the best run games in football, albeit playing alongside Jahmyr Gibbs, but learning what it looks like to be part of a winning system. And I do believe David Montgomery can be that running back 1. But what makes 2026 genuinely different from every other year is now Stroud has Woody Marks, a guy who went for 703 yards on the ground last season as a rookie. in the middle of a backfield that had no lead back, no continuity, and no stability whatsoever. He just ran hard and made plays anyway. Montgomery brings the power and experience. Marks brings the explosiveness, the youth, and the upside. That is a definitive 1-2 punch, and that is something CJ Stroud has literally never had in his career. Together, I think Woody Marks and David Montgomery, behind a rebuilt offensive line with Braden Smith, Wyatt Teller, and Ed Ingram, could really contribute to CJ Stroud having a complete offense. And I do want people to understand why the backfield situation matters so much beyond just the running game. When you have a credible running threat, everything changes for the quarterback. Defenses can't pin their ears back and just tee off on Stroud every play. Play action becomes deadly, third and manageable becomes a reality, and clock control late in games becomes possible instead of panic mode. Now look, CJ Stroud threw 5 picks and fumbled 5 times across 2 playoff games last January. And a lot of that is on him, and he knows it, and I've talked about it. Man, have I talked about it on this channel. But some of that is on an offense that was completely one-dimensional when it mattered most. Teams schemed around it. They knew what was coming, but that is gone now. The defense is elite. The line is rebuilt. The receivers are getting healthy, and now CJ Stroud has a genuine 1-2 punch at the running back position. The window isn't opening. It is open. It is wide open. The only question left is whether CJ Stroud can seize it when January comes around, but I'll leave that for the comment section. So I do want to hear from you. Who was CJ Stroud's best running back? What was the best running back situation? And is it 2026? Subscribe if you're new. We do this every single day, or at least try to. And share this if you're riding with the Houston Texans this season. Peace out.